Hey guys, it's Becky Bamboo. Today's Friday, April 27th, 2012. I don't know, something like that. Excuse me. I'm really sick. This is an update to talk to you about how I've been doing. This week has been brutal to me. Week 20 of pregnancy. Monday I was off, felt pretty good. Had a little chest tightness. I think I talked about that in my video. Went and worked out. I was really busy all day. Tuesday I worked 10.5 hours and was having a pretty sore throat that day. Like it was just kind of scratchy. Kind of feeling like, I might be catching something here. Thinking I just had a cold. I was around my boss last Friday who was like snotty and coughing and carrying on and had a bad cold. So I just thought, I picked up her cold, whatever. Wednesday, I had to work 14-hour day. Actually ended up being closer to 14.5-hour day. But I got to work and I told my coworker, I'm like, I don't really feel good, like I was achy all over. My throat was really sore. I just didn't feel right. So took my temperature. I had a fever. It was like 100 degrees when I got to work. And I got to work at 4:30 in the morning, so it was early. And so I thought, man, that sucks. So started taking Tylenol to try to knock the fever back. And I retook my temperature every couple hours, and all day it just climbed. Till eventually I got to 101.6. I was getting pretty worried at that point because I'm like, this thing is bad. I had looked at my throat because it was just getting worse and worse. It was like almost impossible to swallow. And I saw it's just beet red, lots of little pussy white patches, and I'm like, oh shit, I've got strep throat. I've had strep throat growing up, so I knew what it was like, and all my symptoms are right on the money for it. Well, I had to work. The clinic I work at is really small. We only have me, another full-time nurse, a part-time nurse, and my boss who's a nurse. My boss is in Nashville, Tennessee, at a national meeting for my company. She's gone. The full-time nurse I work with was sent to another clinic on Wednesday to work because they were short-staffed. Our part-time nurse was sent to another clinic because they were short-staffed. So there was nobody to cover for me. Everybody was working other places or gone. So I had to work it. And I knew I was exposing everybody to strep throat, but when given the choice between getting their dialysis treatment and being exposed to strep throat or not having their treatment at all, the exposure to strep throat was a better option than not having their treatment, because their treatment is what keeps these people alive. So I just, I had to make the most of it. But as the day went on and I felt worse, I was supposed to work another long day on Thursday. And I realized I'm sick. Like, I feel awful. I still don't know how I got through that 14.5-hour day. I really don't, because I don't remember half of what I did. So I told him, if I screwed a bunch of stuff up, just give me a break, because I really have no idea. But, and of course it was like a crazy busy day. It wouldn't have been like a nice calm day. No, it was insane. So anyway, after like 7 or 8 phone calls, I finally got a couple people to split my day for Thursday so that I could be off. Got an appointment to go see my OBGYN. Went in. Between Wednesday night and Thursday, I started to feel even worse. Like, my throat totally, like, every time I swallowed, it was like if I was eating glass or sandpaper. It just, like, no amount of hot or cold liquid could soothe it. It was just so painful. And it still is. And I'm sipping some hot coffee right now, and every single swallow, it's like, you gotta like brace yourself for it, because it's gonna be uncomfortable. So anyway, between Wednesday and Thursday, my head got congested, my chest got congested, so I didn't get much sleep because I was laying, I couldn't breathe out of my nose. had to breathe out of my mouth, which dried my mouth and throat out. So every time I tried to swallow, it was like for real swallowing sandpaper. So I'd have to like try to get liquid in my mouth before I'd swallow. It was just brutal. And when I got to the doctor on Thursday morning, I told him, like, even my ears are throbbing. And so I did go see the OBGYN because he told me he would prefer to be the one to treat me for any illnesses that required antibiotics, because there are antibiotics that doctors can prescribe that are very harmful to your fetus. So that's just who I went to. And he looked at my ears, and he was making these like grumbly sounds, and he kind of pushes on my face, on my sinuses, and they are very tender, and he's like, and then he listens to my chest, and he's like, oh, and he looks in my throat, and he's like, oh, and you have strep throat. I'm like, what do you mean, and I have strep throat? He's like, well, you have a double ear infection, you have sinus infection, you have bronchitis, and you have strep throat. So I have a plethora of illness right now, and I feel terrible. I mean, there's no other way to say it, but I feel terrible. And I felt, it's just, today's a much better day than the previous two. Wednesday was really rough. So if you see how crappy I look now, you can imagine how crappy I looked 2 days ago. But anyway, he prescribed me some antibiotics, and I've been continuing to take Tylenol around the clock. By Wednesday night, I had actually got my fever down to like 99.8 with all the Tylenol that I had been taking all day long. I was taking it every 4 hours. But between Wednesday night and Thursday morning, when I got to the doctor, I was back up to 101.2. So that was no good. So yesterday, antibiotics and then more Tylenol. I think I finally got the fever kicked, which is a huge help, because, the fever just makes you feel so much worse, like, because you're hot and cold and aching and nothing suits you, and it's just miserable. So I finally got that one gone, and I'm starting to feel better. I woke up really early this morning, couldn't breathe again in bed, so I got up at like 4 just to sit up. And it just feels better to sit upright. So anyway, I'm sick, you guys. There's no other way around to say it, but I'm sick. So I keep drinking my hot and cold drinks and stuff. But so anyway, other than that, how's pregnancy going? Pretty good. Zeke's been kicking a lot more. Actually, Wednesday and Thursday, I didn't feel him moving too much, and the doctor said that would probably be normal because of the fever, and that I was really, under the weather. And today, I feel him a lot more. In fact, when I woke up early this morning and was thinking about getting up, like, he was just kicking the crap out of me, and I'm like, I'm just going to get up because it's just going to keep me awake anyway. Still getting used to that, the kicking feeling, and it, gets stronger all the time, so it's a pretty neat feeling, but at the same time, there's times where you're just like, okay, kid, just calm down just give me 5 minutes, please. Which is, it's kind of interesting. So, feeling him a lot more. Was feeling good until all this junk came along. So hopefully, I'm off all weekend. Thank God I had a 4-day weekend scheduled. That just happened by luck, and I was joking with my coworker and saying, oh yeah, the last time I had a 4-day weekend was when I had pneumonia, so it's not looking too good for me to have these pre-scheduled 4-day weekends that, I didn't request the time off. It's just, that's the way that the schedule fell. So, it's just sucky, but I'm glad to have it, I'll be really glad to have it. So, let's see, what else is going on? My weight didn't change when I saw the doctor yesterday, which was good. I had seen him on the 16th, so from the 16th to the 26th, 10 days, I hadn't gained anything, which was good. I hate to talk about weight gain so much, but you almost can't help it as a weight loss surgery patient. You almost can't help but be freaked out and worried about every single little pound you put on, because I know how much work it took to get every single little pound off, and I'm fully aware of how much work it's going to take to get every single pound back off. But I also know that the weight gain is important for the baby. It's important to help him grow, and I think this is the challenging thing. I keep doing my videos, and now obviously my focus is about pregnancy. But because it's about pregnancy, I almost don't feel like a weight loss surgery patient anymore. I almost feel like I've been ousted from the community because I can't relate to what you guys are going through, what you're doing right now. All the weight loss surgery rules that I had lived my life by for almost 2 years kind of had to go out the window when I got pregnant. Unfortunately, you can't eat a high protein, no to low carb diet as a pregnant person. You have to eat carbs. Your baby requires it. That's what you crave. The cravings for junk food just goes like crazy through the roof. And it's hard. It's really hard. And I just feel like there's so many days I feel like I've lost control over my eating, but yet at the same time I recognize that I'm doing what I have to do for the baby. And it's just a challenge, and I very much feel like I'm not a part of this community right now, and it's a struggle for me. Like I miss talking about working out all the time, and talking about doing 5Ks, and talking about what's coming up next and what's my next goal. And for me right now, my next goal is I'm going to have a baby in September. That's my next goal. And the goals between now and then are related to getting a nursery put together, buying what we need to have for him here, starting a registry for my baby shower, getting daycare figured out and set up. I mean, there's just it's goals that are not related to my physical being. And right now I have to keep constantly reminding myself that what I do is for him. It's not for me, it's for him. And I still try to eat healthy. I eat lots of fruit. I eat good proteins. But yeah, I eat a lot of carbs too. And talking to the doctor, and I'm doing everything he wants me to do. But it's still hard from a weight loss surgery perspective, because you get so set on, this is my new life. This is the way that I will eat every day for the rest of my life. Yeah, it is, until you get pregnant. And then that goes out the window. So, it's a struggle, and you get so used to seeing the scale going like this, and now I have to watch it go like this and just sit back and go, okay, it is what it is. It is what it is. If it's 80 pounds by the end, then that's what it is. And oh my God, I would freak out if it was. But, right now I'm at an 18-pound gain. I've gained 18 pounds through my almost 21 weeks of pregnancy. It is what it is. If it ends up being 50 by the time I deliver, it is what it is. I have to take it day by day, and it's not always easy. But it could be worse too. I'm very blessed. I've had a very healthy life since my weight loss surgery. I've had no complications with my gastric bypass, and I've had no complications with my pregnancy. Everything has gone textbook perfect to this point, and I could ask for nothing more. I am so stinking blessed. But it's hard to be on YouTube right now, because I hear everybody doing these videos about Vegas, and I'm so jealous because, number one, I don't get to go again this year, and there's so many of you that I would love to meet in person and hug and say thank you for inspiring me, thank you for motivating me, thank you for just being you and putting yourself on YouTube. But even if I could go this year, I think that it probably wouldn't be as enjoyable for me, simply because I know I'm not in weight loss surgery mode. I'm having a baby mode, and it's it's kind of weird. I'm sure there's other people in this community who have gone through pregnancy that can relate to what I'm saying, where you feel like you're not a part of weight loss surgery community anymore. And yet I recognize that I'm still a member of this community. It's just a funny, I'm like in a funny place right now. You know, everybody's on their weight loss surgery journey. Well, I did my weight loss surgery journey. I met my goal. Now I'm going to have a baby journey. And once that journey's over, I can go back into weight loss surgery mode, and I can go back into, I have new goals, and these, you know, fitness goals and weight goals and whatever it comes at the time. But being in the pregnancy mode just doesn't seem to jive with the weight loss surgery community. I don't know how to explain it. But anyway, I still appreciate all of you who follow me, all of you who comment, all of you who send me such supportive comments on Facebook and everything else. I really can't say enough of how much all of you mean to me. So, with that said, I'm going to call this video done. My throat is just burning from talking so much. So, you guys keep on keeping on, and you know, those of you in weight loss surgery mode, you're doing great. I still follow everybody. I'm still keeping up with what you guys are doing. So, you know, keep up the good work, and not too many more months till I get to be back among you. And those of you preparing for Vegas, you suck. Have a good time, but you suck. I'll check in with you guys next week, and hopefully I'll be feeling a lot better. Bye bye.